Livestock such as goats, pigs, sheep, and cattle are among the domesticated animals that are highly valued among the people in most rural parts of Zambia. These animals play different roles socially and economically, but when a deadly livestock tick-borne disease such as East Coast fever interferes with the livestock resource, the cry for a sustainable response becomes louder and louder among the livestock farmers and other stakeholders.
At this institute, we do produce cattle vaccines, namely anthrax vaccine. We have a Clostridium vaccine, which prevents black quarter, and we have the HS vaccine, and also the stabilate ECF vaccine, which protects animals against the East Coast fever. And then for chickens, we do have a vaccine, the Newcastle vaccine, which protects chickens from suffering from Newcastle, and this is the I2 vaccine.
East Coast fever is one of the most economically important diseases of cattle. It was first identified and diagnosed in 1922 in Nakonde districts. It spread to districts to Isoka, Chinsali and Mbala by 1929. It was also diagnosed in Eastern Province, in Chipata in 1929. It went quiet from 1922 to 29. It went quiet up to 1945 when the outbreaks were recorded in the Eastern Province. Then the move from Chipata started going to westward towards Nyimba. As we speak, all districts of Eastern Province have East Coast fever except for Mambwe. And then later, the disease was reported in Southern Province at a place called Hufwa in Monze, where there was a major outbreak of disease which led to serious deaths of animals in the whole Southern Province.
East Coast fever is transmitted by ticks, either from the same or different species of ticks. Ticks and tick-borne diseases, if not controlled, are costly to the country and livestock farmers. Therefore, understanding the ecology of the vector tick, its distribution, and characteristics is key in the development and production of vaccines meant to control the disease.
In Zambia, currently we are producing two stabilates, the chitongo and katete. So if we want to do a production on katete, we are going to infect that animal, which is naive, with the katete. If we want to produce chitongo, we are going to infect it with chitongo. At that stage, after infection, we give it about 9 days, and then we start sampling that animal so that we check whether the animal has been infected with the neat stabilate that we've been inoculated into the animal. The moment we start seeing parasites, in this case, the Theileria parva, when it is infected in an animal, it starts to be seen as schizons. There are stages in which the parasites develop in an animal. So the first stage, at day 9 to 10, you will actually get lymph node biopsy smears, which we examine, and we are going, if we see that there are schizons when we do the examination, then we know that that animal has been infected and we can now use it for pickup.
I'm sure you've been briefed already how we come to this stage from collecting from the rabbits. Then when they are collected from the rabbits, then they are brought in this room where we now produce our vaccine. So after our ticks have been brought to this room, first we have to clean them because they are normally dirty. Maybe they will have blood on them, they will have fur from the rabbits. So our ticks are here. These are ticks. We've counted them and we know the number of ticks that we want, because the number of ticks will determine the number of doses that we are going to produce. So we'll transfer the ticks into the mortar, which has been put on a cold bath. The cold bath is made out of ice. So after we transfer them on the cold bath, we'll add our MEM, the media that is used to produce the media that is used as a dilution for our ticks. So we'll first measure. We'll measure and then mix it with the ticks. And then we use the pistol. Then we'll crush them. So as we are crushing, this is timed for we'll crush for about 15 minutes under a cold bath. So from this stage, from all the stages that we do, it is done under ice because we don't want to kill the organisms that we are interested in.
The reason we have 3 types of vaccines is that East Coast fever is, although it's the same disease, its manifestation is very area specific. So that's why in Zambia we currently have isolated over 24 strains. Of the 24 strains, we have picked out super strains, and these are chitongo, which we use in Southern Province, Lusaka Province, Central and Copper Belt provinces. And we've picked katete as an immunizing strain that we have picked for Eastern Province. We are also working on a strain for Northern and Mchinga, which we are calling ISO, because it was isolated in Isoka, and this will be used in Northern and Mchinga. So that's why the strains are not the same. We have area-specific strains. So going forward, as we go with the use of the private sector in the immunizations, we also have to worry about the issue of how the strains are used, so that there's no mixing of the strains and therefore causing new diseases in areas where the strains don't exist. So that's one of the things we have to worry about.
The presence of the disease contributes to limited production of productive livestock among the farmers. And because of the devastating effects ticks and the tick-borne diseases have on livestock, disease priorities for government and stakeholders are changing for the better. The change is not only on the priorities, but also on livestock production systems and the animal disease research environment.
The stabilate that is produced is mainly for the protection of animals from East Coast fever. We know that East Coast fever kills a lot of animals and it's transmitted through ticks. And a lot of problems arise because farmers find it difficult to control ticks. Once the ticks are controlled, then the disease which causes East Coast fever is prevented. So mainly the East Coast fever is mainly in the Southern Province and Eastern Province.
Ticks and tick-borne disease control in Zambia was previously focused on the prevention, but with an imported vaccine for East Coast fever disease that sometimes took long to come. Today, the vaccine production activities by the Central Veterinary Research Institute, CVRI, that are supported by the International Fund for Agriculture Development, IFAD, are yielding results in the livestock sector in the country.
Producing stabilate here is a major milestone. This production was in the places I mentioned, but then, due to an agreement with the African Union, production of both Katete and Chitongo were moved to Malawi, we suffered the inconsistencies in terms of delivery periods and quantities. To the extent that government decided that to bring back stabilate production in Zambia.
The stabilate we produce here is for the prevention of East Coast fever, commonly known as in the southern province as dengue. So this disease, like my colleague said, is transmitted through ticks. So the stabilate essentially we use it for immunizing cattle that are 3 months old to about 1 year, 6 months. So when we immunize the animals against East Coast fever, essentially the animal is immune for life. So it's one of the strategies we are using as a ministry to prevent or control this disease, East Coast fever, in our country. So mainly we do collaborate with the colleagues in the field that are very close to our clients. Those are the farmers. So once we produce this vaccine here, we then transport it to the colleagues in the field.
Inside here, you have a cooler box which is containing the media, and in here you have the stabilate. So at this point, we are at the thawing stage. Thawing stage simply means you have to make a water bath which has a temperature between 35 to 40. Simply because the media was frozen, the stabilate was also frozen. The stabilate, which is this one, is kept in a liquid nitrogen, which is negative 196 degrees, and the media is just below 0, so it is frozen instead. So we have to bring the two to a one temperature, which could be 38 or 39. And this temperature normally is the normal temperature for a living cow. So the stabilate, which is alive, we have to activate it to that temperature. That's why we put it is just to activate it. Once we activate it, we mix it with the media. The media is a diluent, okay? So it's a diluent or food for the live vaccine. So this vaccine or the stabilate is mixed with the media. So it's 1:9.
Because of the need to reduce ticks and tick-borne diseases over the years, human and financial resources have been invested in developing an East Coast fever vaccine at the Central Veterinary Research Institute, CVRI, in the country. The main objective of these investments have been to produce a vaccine that is affordable, easily accessible, safe, effective, easily manageable, and acceptable to the users.
We lost a lot of expertise in the area. A lot of them moved to Malawi. We had to come back and start developing the expertise here, which we have done, to the extent that we are now able to produce stabilate from first principles. We are able to collect strains in the field and then come into the lab and produce the vaccine as it were, that we have been able to test in the field, test in the lab, and it works extremely well. In comparison, when we go in the lab with the Malawi produced stabilate, we get seroconversion rates or efficiencies of 90%. When we use our very own produced here, we get over 94% seroconversion. So we think that we are able to produce a more superior vaccine or stabilate, as it were. So we think that this has to be celebrated in a way, to the extent that our farmers should be rest assured that we're going to consistently produce and the stabilate will be available, and that their animals are surely going to be protected in all areas.
With the ticks and tick-borne disease challenges faced by livestock farmers in the country, the Central Veterinary Research Institute, CVRI, understands the growing need to increase vaccine production against the East Coast fever disease. Increased vaccine production implies helping the livestock farming community to improve income generation, food and nutrition security, and contribute positively to the country's economy.
Well, today we are very happy to say this vaccine is being locally produced from Central Veterinary Research Institute. So it's at least the availability now is assured compared to in the past when we used to import it from Malawi. The program we are witnessing today is what is called East Coast Fever Immunization, which takes place in the plateau districts of Southern Province. Since we are in Monze here, our target for this round is 7,000 cows. The objectives of these programs are to reduce mortality due to ECF, so as to raise income for the farmers. In Southern Province, we are dealing with about 8 districts, all the plateau districts, starting from Chikankata, Mazabuka, Monze, Pemba, Choma, Kalomo, Zimba, and Namwalo. We are doing this program. And for this round, the target for the province is 30,000.
The production of the East Coast fever vaccine is also meant to enhance livestock production, increase income, and improve nutrition among the farmers in southern, eastern, and central provinces, among others.
We are able to produce locally the stabilate for East Coast fever control within the country. And we've been doing it from about 2014 to date. I think we have the experience and it works. And all the farmers, especially farmers of Eastern and Southern provinces that have the longest experience, you will not doubt the vaccine that we produce, the stabilate that we produce. It works, it keeps your heads, and it's a one-off adventure. You contribute some money, 40 kwacha per calf, but you know, what is the 40 kwacha compared to the value of a calf, which is about 2,500? Let's not doubt, let's get it done, let's grow our heads, let's become better.
The Central Veterinary Research Institute, CVRI, is using the infection and treatment method for effective immunization of animals against the East Coast fever disease.
East Coast fever is controlled using several methods, including ECF-ITM. ITM means infection and treatment method, which uses stabilate. We also control East Coast fever using dipping or stock movement controls, or even treatment using chemotherapy. So the major and most sustainable of this method is the use of immunization, which is the ECF infect and treat method. Immunization uses a live parasite. The Theriaria parva parasite is live, and it's the one that we use for, we infect an animal on one end and treat it simultaneously. It produces an antigenic or a reaction that produces antibodies against the disease. Once a calf is immunized, the calves that we immunize normally range from 3 to 18 months. Once it's immunized, it will be free. It will not get East Coast fever because of the antibodies that are created for the whole of its life.
The Central Veterinary Research Institute is also focusing their attention on community participation in the control of ticks and tick-borne diseases. Participation at a fee by farmers is purely meant to promote a sense of ownership among the livestock farmers in the country.
A program ndaba tukozwa ne ganjila ndaibona kuti ya mujuru amana process yaga inenga iboneka abe ilagata batita igata hijja kutanguna werere kuti ube member humbwa mulimo wajitigano a crash pen werere kuti kotora burubazo boyibete process so a process kuti izwidilile twagagamantana mbuli bahi basi bahi hubwa ntwagagamantana mbo munyambweyamba twagasala committee overall committee itulanga tonse winda mutwagasala overall committee twagabona kuti jakatuba ubira kambo mirumbe yonse noyibola isigira mu committee yasigira mu committee baro bayitora kubantu muri magana wiyasya ngombe banhwabyo ba committee batutoli baumwa ya mulumbe kuti tuchani tujite yandika so ndamba tukuzwa nitwagataliga ndabona twaba improvement tobanji turahambana guha maji ihijitika hipya muchiteni mu program guhambana imali ngoto badera kuti ng'ombe hesu hibore kuyaswa mombe omungu fote kwacha inogugwa hili yakamba yamala abola tatwapi jindi notuyasa aunka ku town so tulabika one kwacha kuti kwatugwahirire uti tole mali kuya kuchita hii kuya kuchita deposit so mubuho aho ing'ombe omwe yaswa fote kwacha one kwacha ngani nja management ibyo yahi locally kuno jija number 1 chekabona i denkete ali kutuma maningi inokuinda mukuhiyasya musamo wa denkete ikuhwa kwa jeya then even kuamba kuti ndikaule musamo wakuhwabirira denkete chiradura pere mukubhadhera byo fote kwacha chiuba ubalimwe ndabona bubo tokambo my expenses mahonto jindi notulima mainza avola ne means ya manpower na means ya power ya kuti tulime tuhange tuchite hintu hinji ali mukunze kwa bobo tahi kulimabo oro milimo ya kunkuni milimo ya hintu hayandenye ng'ombe hotuvereha milimo ili ya milemo so ne benefit imbe hotujana kunze kwa mukupa kulimya.
From the knowledge made available to livestock farmers by the Enhanced Smallholder Livestock Investment Program (ISLIP) through the Central Veterinary Research Institute on the importance of the vaccine, most farmers have been able to appreciate the benefits resulting from the East Coast Fever Vaccination Program in the country.
Program iri tukondeteka pati maningi nibazumana naku yakumbere. Ojintu byo batongoka bali mikubula byo mara kutani akubaterera bombe kama otimali muro yabo ya but anyway yatugwa ya maningi kama ngombe yanyamuka maningi. So program tuyandaka pati. Abobo chotongoka yo chakuti izi ndijirarampa. Yakuyasya bona kutwayasya no mu September paka ndiza na mu April na mu March noti yakubona kuti babora bana ndiza mu August time next year so kwali kwanda tikaenda yakuhambana na mezi yotatu kuti na jabora bobo amezi yotatu ndiza ngatani tulabaka kamba ino bombe bajara banyi oro ino mwaranga aba bombe banji bahonto bamwiba bahwera tibachikonya kuyasa so kuti aimu bakubona chindichirango yaje ndikanga bomba batani bakomena pona bayotaka kuti batani bakomena bomba so pali kulombo yakuti ubota ali mikuyambira na mu December mwabora imwe yotani imwe kuti yasi pama farmers ngatulabikana anthu omwe organize kuchita mulimbo tupango tulabambira kuti pasaka tueta isamu tusimpe mulimbo tuchita pona tulabambira tulaba kuti yakudibyango yakayaswa kumi mbuba boneka kabo tukabona kuti twaba improve ngombe hata likakuhura mumaba ayi ngombe ayarwa irahamba na utani kukomera kama kuti yakwabiri.
Sustainability in the production of the East Coast Fever vaccine to control ticks and tick-borne diseases is a key factor to nurture in the livestock industry for long-term impact among the farmers in the country and beyond.